Welcome back. This week we are in Hollywood, California, and while most people come here to see the stars on the Walk of Fame, we're starting our trip by seeing the Nightmare on Elm Street house. That's right, the house behind me was used to film Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 2. So hey, let's get this party started. Let's move on to Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. All right, so the first house, Monstrous, the Monsters of Latin America. So 3 times the legends, 3 times the terror. It was our first house of Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood.
Las brujas, la lechuza, witches, vampiros.
What were your thoughts of this house, Patira?
It's pretty scary, but the worst thing for me is the smell. The smell is very bad.
It was really cool. It's kind of like 3 houses in one. One of those had like a butcher with all rotten meat. It smelled like rotten pork.
Slaughter, and like, oh my god,
Yeah, it was really disgusting. A couple things I noted was just the detail. The one part, there was this huge chupacabra that came out, and just like the saliva was really something cool to see. I really like this house.
They did a good job, but the smell is just a nightmare.
It smells really bad. I got my biggest jump scare of the entire event in that house. So 1 house down, 7 more to go. All right, house number 2, Evil Dead Rise, first IP house of the night. An ancient curse rises in a new setting, an LA apartment building. The Book of the Dead is about to unleash unimaginable horrors on you and your Scream Squad. Evil has come home. What was your thought of this house, Patira?
We watched the movie before, and we're not a fan of the movie, but this one is better than the movie. Whatever the movie did, is the haunted house is way better, scarier.
Yeah, I don't even remember finishing the movie. Patira says we did. I don't remember. It was not that great. A couple cool things. There was a lot of characters with chainsaws in the house. Really great details. And you could tell the characters, they wanted to scare you. It wasn't just like jumping out. They wanted to scare you. It didn't matter if it's me who doesn't really get too scared or Patira who's screaming as we do the entire way through the house.
Yeah.
They really wanted to scare everyone, which I thought was cool.
You use them. You abuse them. And you toss them away. Well, now they are back. And they are here to stay. But no need to fret. They just want to play.
Third house of the night was Unmasked, the Universal Monsters. Descend into the catacombs where you and your squad will face a new horde of monsters. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Phantom of the Opera, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and the Invisible Man.
Les catacombes de Paris. 60 feet below the surface, there is an empire du Nord, an empire of the dead.
I'll start this time. Really like this house. The detail was just incredible. There was one part where you're walking through and the Hunchback of Notre Dame like rips this individual's leg off, and they had it set up where water would shoot out. And I was wearing shorts, so I was like, wow, I really thought I was getting splashed with blood, and just how the legs pulled apart was just incredible.
Yeah, I think it was the first time we experienced that, water splash when they, rip off the body part. I think it was our first experience for that too. I don't think they have it anywhere else.
The first time they started using water and effects to simulate what was happening was in Hollywood. So, a fantastic house.
Scary.
All right, our 4th house of the night was Chucky Ultimate Kill Count. Chucky the serial killer doll is back for a new gore fest. He's hijacked his own haunted house with all kinds of bloody hijinks. You and your friends must try to survive his ultimate kill count. Patira, what were your thoughts with the Chucky house?
Chucky was okay for me. Was okay. It's not much scare actor in the house because it's like Chucky figures, like with the noise and sound and things like that. So it's not like spooky with the actors come to jump and scare at you. So Chucky for me was okay.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't as good as the Chucky house in Japan, the 3D house. The one thing that did stick out to me was there was a guy walking through the house that has eyes like bulging out of his head, like they were pulled out. And I don't know how they did that with makeup and stuff, but it looked really, really cool. All right, our fifth house of the night was Stranger Things 4, based on season 4 of Stranger Things. You'll need your squad to resist Vecna's gruesome curse. Like 11, now is your chance to stop him once and for all as you take on the scariest season of Stranger Things. I watched Stranger Things, but Tira does not. I thought the house wasn't really that scary, but the scenes were spot on to this show. There were certain scenes in the show that literally looked like you were in the movie. Even 11, there was a couple scenes with her in it, and it looked like it was 11. Don't think it was her, but it looked like it.
For me, I feel like a movie set, kind of. You know, like you walk through the movie set scene and things like that, and there is a couple jump scare in that house. People scare when they're not supposed to scare, but it's the lady on the stair, and yeah, it was okay for me.
All right, next one up, our sixth house and our second original house, and that is Holidays in Hell. From New Year's Eve to Thanksgiving, your favorite holidays to celebrate with your friends are going to hell. 'Tis the season to scream in this holiday nightmare. The scarier, the merrier. It was an okay house. Again, you go through various holidays from New Year's Eve to Christmas to Thanksgiving. I think there was even like a little St. Patrick's Day mixed in there.
4th of July.
4th of July. The coolest part I thought was Thanksgiving. We were actually going through when this family's having Thanksgiving, and they're all have been murdered. They're all dead, heads are cut off. But it pumped in a Thanksgiving feast smell, and it actually made me hungry.
You smell turkey?
Yeah, it actually made me hungry.
It was okay for me. This house is just walk through kind of thing again, and it's nothing special, nothing scary. If what you're looking for in haunted house is not delivered.
Yeah, I actually thought it was a little better than that. I did like it. There was various areas. At least, again, these are based off of mostly American or North American holidays.
Yes.
So it would resonate more probably with me than with you. All right, our seventh house of Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood was none other than The Last of Us. Obviously a huge hit with the TV show this past year, and many more people know it for the video game. This one was based off the video game. Patira, what were your thoughts about The Last of Us house?
It was cool. According to the movie, the actors just look exactly like Joe, like look exactly the same, and it's like we walk through the scene when they're filming the movie. It was really cool. It's a little couple jump scare, but it's not much.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that scary, and I really used this one. I compared it against Stranger Things, and Stranger Things was just way more detailed, and I really felt like I was in Stranger Things. Did not necessarily feel like I was really in Last of Us. There was one really cool part where this character ripped some guy's mouth off of his head. That I really enjoyed. That detail was spectacular.
Right hand side, right hand. Let's go first.
All right, the final haunted house of Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood for us was The Exorcist Believer, based off of the movie that I think just came out a few days ago. We've not had the chance to watch it. It's obviously the sequel to the original Exorcist. The cool thing about this was we did Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday was just Patira and I, and then Saturday and Sunday we were joined by friends. So Friday, it all came down to, it was like 1:30 in the morning. We really didn't have time to wait in an hour, 2-hour line. So we actually were talking to one of the coworkers, and he asked us, "Hey, what are you doing here? Where are you from?" And we told him that we were on the quest and going to try to go to all 4 Halloween Horror Nights. And he walked us right to the front of the line, not to the Express Pass line, not to the VIP or RIP tours. He walked us right to the front, in front of everyone, and said, "Enjoy." So shout out to Miguel if you're watching. That already, before we even walked in the house, it's already going to get some extra points just because of that. But let's talk about the house. Patira, do you want to talk about it?
The house was cool. I mean, when we walk in, they don't have like the outlet with the prop set and everything, and you walk in a little bit further until you get like the actor would jump scare you, because they would just make you feel like nothing gonna happen. Like, you know, like when you walk for like maybe like 1 minute walk in, nothing happens, just the decoration. And then once you like, oh, it's nothing gonna be here, and then the actor would jump scare you, and it was really cool.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it. There's one part where literally the walls became transparent and things were going on.
Yes.
You could see through walls, and a lot of technology made things look very paranormal in the house. So I really liked it, and just the overall walk right to the front of the line. It's going to be up there in my rankings, and we're going to get to them shortly.
Are you tired of humans? Are you sick of being stepped on, squashed, swatted, and sprayed? Then call the exterminators today and you can.
Okay, so before we get to the scare zones, there's one attraction that's kind of in the middle of a haunted house and a scare zone, and that is the Terror Tram Exterminators. All these insects are finally out to exterminate humans. It was pretty cool. I really don't like any kind of large bugs. I am petrified of cockroaches. Patira knows this very well. So it was okay. You go on the normal tour, and then you get off. You go through a couple of like kind of scare zone areas. What I did really think was cool is that you got to walk through the sets of Jordan Peele's Us, the plane crash scene from War of the Worlds, and you got to see the original Psycho house. So those 3 things to me were even more than the scare zone. I thought it was cool. What did you think, especially like walking through some of the real movie sets that I don't know if you've seen any of the movies besides Us.
I did. For me, the Terror Tram is when they drop us off and then we kind of have to walk through. It's kind of like a scare zone, but it's not scare zone. It's very disgusting, actually, because they decorate the zone with like a box and cockroach and like, and it was good, but it's nothing scary. They have the actors with the chainsaw. They try to jump you and scare you, and that's it. It's nothing horror, nothing spooky. It's just disgusting with the black turkey.
Okay, so let's talk scare zones. Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood had 3 scare zones. Ghosts, which is basically chainsaw-wielding ghosts. Toys, which to me was the main one and the most prominent of the scare zones. And then El Terra de las Mamias. So, again, Ghosts was the first one as you first walk into the park, and it was ghosts with chainsaws. I don't even really... We saw like a little bit of this. It was really not even a scare zone in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not scare zone at all. It's just the actor dressed up and walking all over the street for me, and that's it.
And it really upped it a level when you got to the next scare zone, which was on the same path, and that scare zone was toys. To me, by far the best scare zone that they had. They had various toys, and you'll see the video, and that was cool. That was pretty creepy.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not even called a scare zone. It's just like the decoration, the street, and then have the actors walk all over the place. If you're looking for the scare zone that, like we talked on previous video on the Singapore, it's nothing like that.
Going from Singapore scare zones to Universal Hollywood scare zones, Singapore was at a much higher notch, hands down. So that's why we're not going to really rank them, because we didn't really spend much time in the scare zones. Again, though, toys was really good. I really liked all the different various characters they had. And there was one time we were just sitting and the big first day, just trying to take like a break while we figured out our next plan of action. And the characters were going out of their way to come up to us, especially you, and jump up from behind and scare Batira. So that was really cool. So shout out to the Toy Scare Zone. The other one was basically around mummies and Latin American folklore. It also was okay. Probably in terms of props, the most propped scare zone. So it wasn't bad either. It was right when you came out of the El Monstros. Okay, our Halloween Horror Night Hollywood haunted house rankings. So this is 8 houses, the most that we've encountered on this trip. Previous being Singapore with 5 and Japan with 3. So let's get right into it, and we're going to try to go through this pretty quickly. I'm going to start. My number 8 and worst rated house was actually The Last of Us, just because it just didn't live up to me what I thought, and compared to Stranger Things, it just wasn't on the same level. What was your number 8?
The Last of Us. My last one, yes.
So we're on the same page there. The Last of Us, number 8. Moving on to number 7, Patira, why don't you start with that?
Chucky.
The Chucky house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame her. It was definitely a step down from the 3D Chucky house in Japan. My number 7 was Holidays in Hell. I did really like a couple of the scenes, but a couple of the other scenes just really, to me, were just okay.
Yeah, Holiday in Hell is my next one.
Number 6.
Number 6. Yes.
Okay, so for Patira, number 6, Holidays in Hell. For me, Chucky Ultimate Kill Count. So the bottom 3 we're aligned with. Again, you heard my reasons for Chucky. Number 5, I'll start Stranger Things 4. While I absolutely loved the house and the details, never really liked the show that much in season 4. I was just hoping for more things. So details were there, but compared to the next 4 we're going to talk about, wasn't as good. What was your number 5?
Mine was
Patira?
Exorcist. The Exorcist.
The Exorcist?
It's my number 5.
Okay. We got a storm rolling in here and things blowing all around. Okay, so let's move on to number 4. What was your number 4?
Stranger Things.
Okay, Stranger Things. Any specific reason why?
I like the jump scare in the house, but I just don't get the concept because I didn't watch the movie.
My number 4 was The Evil Dead Rise, which one of the worst movies I've seen this past year. But in terms of haunted house, very detailed, very good. Jump scares were there. I like the chainsaw wielding whatever they were, zombies in the thing. Okay, so where are we at? We're at number 3, I believe. Is that right?
Yes.
So I'll start this one. Number 3 for me was Exorcist: The Believer. Again, shout out to Miguel. Probably got a couple, numbers up in the rankings just because of him. But I did like, some of the technology that they use in the house, specifically the wall that eventually turns, transparent and you can see through it and stuff like that. What was your number 3, Patira?
Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead Rise.
Yes.
Okay. So I think we're down to our final 2, right?
Yes.
And both of us have the same final 2. So, and I could say both of us had monsters, at least one of them, or the other, as our top 2. Patira, do you want to start?
My second is the monster of the Latin America.
So Monstros, the Monsters of Latin America, that was number 2 for Batira. Number 2 for me was the Universal Monsters Unmasked. It was so much better than Universal Monsters in Japan, and just the details, and again, the Hunchback of Notre Dame ripping the guy's legs apart, and just the details in there, and I really liked it. And just from being a fan of Universal Monsters, just resonated with me. So
yeah,
that leads us to number 1. We know for Batira it's Universal Monsters Unmasked, and for me it's Monstros. The fact that Monstros had 3 different legends that I've never heard of before, I thought was really cool, and I like the differences between each of the 3 different tales. I thought it was basically 3 houses in one, and again, I got the biggest jump scare of that out of that house than the others. So number 1 for me. Why Universal Monsters for you?
It was good. It's really scary. I mean, I didn't really look at the story before until you show me before we start the trip, and it was very, very scary. I wish they could make the movie out of it. It's really good. It's really spooky, scary. This is really what you're looking for in the movie.
They did make movies out of those, right?
No, they didn't.
Before Batira's time. Okay, Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood, overall thoughts. In terms of just the level of production, it was fantastic.
They do the film, the smell, the scent into the haunted house, and it's make you feel like it's make you more scarier to feel the what's it called,
the atmosphere.
To make it people like me who are not a fan of scary thing or horror thing, it's make me even more feel like scarier.
Another pro for me was, again, going into the overall production level, the characters. The characters really wanted to scare you to a whole different level compared to Singapore and Japan. And I would even say potentially Orlando. We'll talk more about that in our next video. We haven't done Halloween Horror Nights Orlando yet. So let's move on to cons. I have 2 cons. One was, this was by far the most expensive Halloween Horror Nights. Tickets, I don't think they're more expensive than Orlando, but if you wanted to do an express pass or any kind of add-on, it was very expensive. So to date, most expensive Halloween Horror Nights. Do you have a con you want to talk about?
When they let you the people in the house, they just let you in, like a lot of people in the house. If you in the first one of the line, the people behind you will just kind of push you, just hurry walk out of this. So this is, I just not like of that thing, because in Japan and Singapore they let like a group in maybe like 10 or 15 each time, but here they just let like maybe like 30.
So typical conga line, which is very common for haunted houses in the U.S. for theme parks that have so many people. It's the only way they can get people through. That does lead kind of into my second con, which was the fake wait times. There were several houses that said 180 minutes and 240, but I think that was to convince people to buy the express passes, which were starting at $250, I think, dollars a person, which more than the actual ticket. We waited in a couple of those lines, the 180 and the 240, and the longest line we waited in the entire time was 70 minutes. So the lying about the line times and wait times in order to sell express passes was disappointing to me. And again, I could be wrong, but I mean, hey, we waited in those lines and none of them turned out to be anywhere close to what they were saying. So that was a big con to me.
Yeah.
Any other cons for you?
No, that's all I have to complain.
All right, well, Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood complete. That leads us to the 4th and final Halloween Horror Nights in the world, Orlando. I don't know if you can see it, but Universal Studios is right behind us, and we're going to be getting into Halloween Horror Nights Orlando, the final stop in this quest for immortality tonight. So stay tuned and hope you enjoyed.